Well, hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Conor. We are back here with another Rumour Mill. What is going on in your world? The 10 o'clock start for this one. I've decided not to do it at 11 o'clock. It's kind of your 10, 11 o'clock. I'll let you guys sort of know ahead of time, of course. And this was scheduled a little bit later on. But, with all the videos we're pumping out lately, I thought I'd get this one out at 10 o'clock. But if you haven't already, everybody, make sure you check out my video yesterday with Benjamin Bloom, which was a fantastic chat. I thought, an intelligent chat. Really interesting if you're on your commute today, an hour of your time, which is well worth it. Obviously, we've done a lot other bits yesterday when it comes to the Rumour Mill. We are getting sort of 30, 40-minute streams out in the morning. We might do other bits during the day as well. We will be uploading the Generation Leads on the Patreon a little bit later on today, everybody, as well. That's pre-recorded as well. I have to promote my other channel. I have started another channel, everybody. We're on 240 subscribers. The video is on 2.3K. My first one, which I'm buzzing with. Really good numbers for my first video. So go check that out if you fancy some general football bits. I know you guys have all been asking me, or a lot of you have been asking me to start doing general football stuff for years now. So now you have a channel. Links in the description below. Go over, subscribe. Let me know what you think on the comment section below. And give me some video suggestions and we'll get into it. But shout out to all of you in the chat. Loved to chat yesterday with Benjamin Bloom. Shout out to you, mate. Thank you so much. Good morning from a snowy Munich. Connor, hi, Gavin. Hope everything's all right, mate. Got a meeting at 10:30, so hopefully I can catch all this. Good morning, says Jan. Hello. Martin's in the building. Hi, Martin. Russ in the building as well. Finally caught live for the first time in a while. Hope things are good, Connor. Enjoyed the chat with Benjamin Bloom. We need a goalkeeper. 2 a.m. for me right now. Good night. All shout out to you, Caledon. You've come in a little bit late. Morning, Stefan, and morning, Terry, and morning all. Okay, so look, this morning, I have to say, there's a few rumours on the mill and all this sort of stuff, but I wanted to get on, not a rant as such, because you guys know what I get like when I get into it, when I'm passionate about something. But I think there has to be something, a conversation around Leeds' options in-house right now and the actual quality of options we have. And I'm going to start it with the Ramazani reminder. Now, there was a clip going around on social media last night, everybody, of Ramazani absolutely tearing apart Sheffield United. It was glorious to see. I remember speaking to a good few of my Sheffield United pals, one that is frequent on this channel, and they were speaking about Large and saying, who on earth is that? How good is he? He's absolutely star quality. And I just wanted to talk about something when it comes to the fan base, and it's almost quite positive, because it's very much like, just settle. I can already see it in the comment section below as well. Your opinions are your opinions. That's absolutely fine. But in my opinion, as a content creator, I just wanted to say settle on Ramazani. This boy scored 2 goals against Real Madrid. Was Almeria's hot talent, came to Leeds United. And what I will say is he was brought in as that Somerville replacement. I genuinely think that there is a conversation about Largy Ramazani having a higher ceiling than Crysencio Somerville. That's actually what I believe. Now, before his injury at Leeds United, he was unbelievable. I thought he was our best player. I was coming on here saying I genuinely think right now he's the best player in the Championship. And that narrative seems to have changed a little bit. And the reason I wanted to talk on this is because right now we're sort of, we've got 2 draws in our last 2 games. There's a conversation maybe about the combinations going forward maybe isn't quite working, or at stages needs a little bit of a refresh. And it naturally comes back to Solomon or Ramazani. Now, these are excellent options to have. Excellent options to have. I've been thoroughly impressed with Manor Solomon. I've clapped him. We've given him praises. I think literally for the last 3 games, I've been, I think he came on, he got taken off, didn't he? I think it was against Derby County. I was not happy with that. Solomon has been a breath of fresh air. He's been excellent. A very different player, in my opinion, to Ramazani. Ramazani is someone who gets in behind. He's explosive, shoots extremely quickly with both feet. Solomon's a little bit more slower on the tempo, but a little bit maybe more of a dribbler. Maybe cuts inside a little bit more. And there's a difference between them both. A big difference between them both. And this is just talking about the options right now that Daniel Farke has to change the games. So I think the big thing to talk about is maybe the fact that since Ramazani's come back and has been fully fit, it's 1 start in 11, which I think is is mad, to be honest with you. Now, does he come in for Ramazani? Obviously, he started against Derby County, wasn't that great, looked a little bit rusty. But does he need more minutes? No minutes whatsoever. None, nil, nada in his last two. And we've been focusing on Elan Melee a hell of a lot, but I think Leeds United actually, on a positive slant, have a hell of a lot more options in-house than we actually think. And we're going to get onto another one in just a sec. But largely Ramazani, I think, was the best player in this division before his injury. And I think he was literally getting onto a level where we were going, oh my God, are we going to be able to keep him? I know it sounds daft, but in January, we're going to be able to keep him because I thought he was just on another level, just his build-up play, his consistency. As I say, his shot efficiency, his link-up play, how fast he was. They'd started to double up on him because he was the threat. The balance between him and Nonto was excellent because the oppositions didn't know what to do because it was like, do you double up on Nonto or do you double on Ramazani? Can you really do both? The threats both they possessed from either side was very, very impressive. And the balance between them both actually, I think, weirdly got the best out of Nonto as well. The interchange between both was very good as well. James has come in, done well. Solomon's been excellent. As I've dropped my pen. Oh, I've got another one here. So, I just think within, and the reason I'm talking about this in particular is because on social media, a lot of the videos were going around last night, and it's starting to look, believe me or not believe me, Solomon was 100% a Daniel Farke signing. Ramazani, I don't believe was. Okay, now that's absolutely fine. And Daniel Farke might have got them in. And guys, you can choose to believe that. I could just be doing this for clicks, which some of you think. I mean, I literally, you know, I'm 31 years old. I really can't be arsed with that. But that's what I believe. I'll put it that way. That's what I believe. Okay. Now, I feel Solomon came in very, very quickly after his injury, or was at least playing minutes after his injury. And I don't think Ramazani's been given that same luxury by the manager. When you've got that X factor on the bench, I think you've got to utilize it for me. He can change games. He's rapid. He's very good. And I think we all know his efficiency is extremely good for the Championship. Now, when you draw in twice and he doesn't play any minutes whatsoever, warning signs for me. We mentioned this in the three things, but we're talking about Elan Melee a lot. Of course we are. But you've got to include Ramazani. You've got to include Ramazani when you're struggling to create or do anything against Blackburn Rovers, and it has to be a penalty to decide, the game. And I think it links back to just generally a lot of people sort of maybe having just whatever the manager says as almost gospel. And I would probably encourage you to have your own opinion outside what the manager does. We have a player on the bench here who, Solomon is doing an excellent job right now. But I think long-term, A, Ramazani is our player, and B, Ramazani's complete X factor. I think Solomon's very good, and I'm happy to have him in the team right now. But I think there's a level up that Ramazani is when he gets into his flow. I genuinely believe that. And I know some of you might disagree with that, and that's what this channel's all about. But I just think the exposure he's having right now to first-team football is madness. And unfortunately, I'm seeing on social media, I'm seeing in my comment sections that Ramazani is now, he's now dog poo in terms of people don't rate him anymore. And I think this is the thing when players are out of that first team and they're not exposed to first team minutes, or when they come in and they're not great, for some reason the fan base decides to turn around and immediately go, well, they're not good enough. They're not good enough. And I think we've seen that with a few players this season, in my opinion. And I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below. We're going to get just a poll running up here. You let me know when it comes to Ramazani. Does he need more minutes? No, not being good enough is one of them. Okay, and yes, get him in. Interested what you guys say on that. And obviously this is subjective, but for me, the manager is failing at the minute with Ramazani. It's not just an Elan Melee thing. Okay, so in-house, that is where you can improve something with Largy Ramazani, in my opinion. Now, Farke's not failing overall. I'm not saying that. I'm not Farke out. We have to do this disclaimer every single time. I'm not saying that, but I do believe with that artillery on the bench, you've got to utilize it a hell of a lot more. Okay, another one that we're seeing who is in-house, okay? Who is in-house, who can play on either flanks. And I was actually speaking to someone the other day who was saying to me, he needs a move. He needs a loan move. And I can't believe he needs a loan move, but it was someone who was in the tactical game, and they couldn't believe it in terms of this individual not getting more minutes for the promise that he's shown abroad. So it's Isaac Schmidt. Now, I did a little bit of number crunching, now having a little bit of a look on what he'd done previously to come into Leeds United. Obviously, he's barely played any minutes whatsoever. So his key attributes. So we get told all the time all the time. And I think this was maybe from a Daniel Farke press conference where he said he needs to almost work on his defending. Naturally, the fans take it as gospel. Okay, naturally. Now, let me just read out a few statistics from his previous, because I still don't think a lot of people know what type of player Isaac Schmidt is. They think he's a left winger. They think he's a flying forward, and he's now not a fullback because he didn't come in for Bogle. He didn't come in for Firpo. So now this must mean, and Byram starts ahead of him. So now this must mean that he's not good enough. He needs to leave Leeds. And this is, unfortunately, is a rhetoric that seems to be creeping in. And I don't know why that is. And it's almost backing these players as well. It's not hammering Mano Solomon. Mano Solomon's been fantastic. Another disclaimer. Largi Ramazani needs more minutes. Isaac Schmidt is another one who deserves more minutes. When he's been in this Leeds United side, technically, he's looked more than capable. I think in his duels, when he's played the minor minutes, he's looked decent. And I think we're all a little bit confused as to what it is. So naturally, people say, well, he's crap at defending, isn't he? He's crap at defending. You know, it's not very good. We've seen him go forward, but he's not really that good at defending. So let me just read out a few of these. So we had a 10.56 tackle rate per 90 at FC Gallen. This specific thing that I was looking at said that apparently he excels at winning the ball back. And with those two attributes, when it comes to the tackle rate and winning the ball back, he's in the 96th and 97th percentile. His defensive duels, whilst at FC Gallen, was at a 71% rate, which is one of the top percentiles as well. And on a specific data point that I was looking at, they were saying that he excels at 1v1 duels. They were actually saying his weaknesses are his aerial ability and at points putting crosses into the box, which I know we've all spoken about as sometimes it can be a bit of an issue and we're all like, what is going on? But I'm saying right now that Isaac Schmidt, I think, is being overlooked a little bit. And look, this isn't throwing the duck out the bathwater. Is that what they say? Who knows? But the other impressive thing is he's got a very low percentage when it comes to fouls and giving away unnecessary fouls, and he's got a very good discipline rate. So the only reason I'm mentioning this, guys, is because we're getting a lot of, well, we haven't got any options. We haven't got any options when Firpo's out. You know, Verba, what's going to happen when he goes? Well, there's a ready-made replacement who we brought in the summer in Isaac Schmidt. Let's give him some minutes. Let's give Ramazani some minutes. Let's give Caldalo some minutes. Let's rotate. I want to see this against Harrogate because I want to see Isaac Schmidt in the side. And I want to see the change of rhetoric because I think against Harrogate Town in particular, people will probably turn around and go, oh, actually, yeah, when he excels probably against them, people are going to go, all right, okay, yeah, maybe he is good enough. But all the numbers from Gallen, all the numbers previously in his career say the complete opposite to what the fan base are now talking about. And I get it's a different level. I get it's a different standard. Okay, I understand. But, you know, he was playing in Europa League qualifying playoff games. That's what he was doing. And a lot of you might not think it's the right standard, coming up against the likes of Trabzonspor, etc. The Championship is a very good standard. We all know that. But at least give him a try. At least give him a go, you know? So I think this is sort of the conversation that needs to be had right now. The rotation in-house that Leeds United have is actually pretty damn good. And I want to see more of Isaac Schmidt. And I do wonder, once again, this is my theory. It's my theory. I know, look, there are a lot of Farkasexuals out there, but this is my theory. Maybe Schmidt and maybe Ramazani weren't Daniel Farke signings. Okay? And that can happen within football clubs. But I'm happy right now with where Leeds United are. We did a positive stream last night. We've done a very positive stream on Generation Leeds. We've done a very positive ending to the debrief. Leeds are on 53 points. We're top of the table. I have to put this disclaimer out there. I have to add context. I'm happy right now. I'm content with where we are. I'm going to be going on a show tonight on Battle Lines and defending Leeds United and defending Daniel Farke and defending the troops. But this man needs to aid rotation. And I think quality rotation at the right times. I think this needs to be something that he needs to develop on. Everybody can improve in life. Farke's not oblivious to that. And another one I wanted to mention was a lot of people are talking about Caldalo. Conor, when you spoke about Caldalo, you said he wasn't good enough to be in the 11. Well, to be honest, guys, I've kind of just looked at it right now and gone, well, I didn't think he was, but what was I actually basing that on? You know, what was I actually basing that on? I wasn't ever directly comparing maybe the mistakes Caldalo would make in comparison to that of Illan Meslier. Illan Meslier, with the goals that we've conceded this season, can potentially be culpable for about 35, 40% of them, genuinely, if you're really scrutinizing that, okay? So at one stage, in his campaign with Hull City, because that's really the last consistent domestic period he had with Hull City. In 2023, he had 12 games for them, okay? In 7 games, he didn't get below a 7.0 match rating for 7 games, okay? Consistently on FootMob. In those 7 games, against the likes of Burnley, Sunderland, Reading, Coventry, West Bromwich Albion, he got 3 man of the matches. The month afterwards, he got player of the month, okay? And now you're looking at his campaign this season, and he's barely played any minutes at Leeds United. He's gone away with international duty, made an absolutely ridiculous double save against Montenegro, and has kept two clean sheets out of 3. And the Welsh fans are absolutely loving him when he's playing for Wales. Okay, so I just look at that, and I think because of a 3-0 loss against Borough, a loss against Salford in the Cup, everybody's now turning around saying, once again, very similar to Schmidt and Ramazani. If he's not playing, he must be you-know-what. He must be this, that, and the other. And whilst I don't think Caldalo is the answer, I think there's goalkeepers out there, which is probably what I was harking on about previously. Is Caldalo good enough? Is he better than Ilan Meslier? So there's a conversation right here. Is Caldalo good enough? Maybe not long-term, okay? Maybe not going forward. But then if we're not doing anything in the keeper market, is he better than Ilan Meslier? 100%. 100%. So this isn't one of those things, everybody, where I'm coming on here once again, disclaimer, bashing Daniel Farke, bashing what he's doing. He's doing a decent job at Leeds United. I do thoroughly, concede that. But I think the rotation options, especially when we're looking at likes of Isaac Schmidt, who for some reason, and rhetoric may be coming out of press conferences about his defensive displays, okay? His defensive displays at FC Gallen, where he's actually had minutes, have been very, very good and put him in the top bracket, okay? So I don't think that's true. And what's that been based on? Ramazani, as I keep saying, has to be utilised more. He is your match winner. He's your X factor. He's when Leeds are up against a low block, in my opinion, throughout the season, he wins you games. Manor Solomon, I think he's a very good player at this level, and he's impressed me. Very, very, very much so. Okay? But I still think Ramazani is the level up. Ramazani is our player. Okay? But I do think maybe, and this is my theory, maybe Daniel Farke, and this is just because Solomon came in extremely quickly and was getting minutes extremely quickly post-injury. Ramazani hasn't had the same luxury. And I don't know why, and hasn't started in the last 2 with Blackburn absolutely screaming out for him to come in. Understand the Derby performance wasn't great for him, but at least give him a bit of consistency. Don't just not feature him whatsoever in the last 2 games. I'm hearing stuff about attitude, this, that, and the other. Absolute, mind my French, bollocks. Rubbish. And let's not start that again. Let's not start the whole attitude stuff. Don't want to even talk about that. But that I've started seeing that in bits and bats in the comment section on social media. But we have options, everybody. We have options in-house. And I think it's all up to Daniel Farke maybe to utilize those options as well. So comments flying in on this, everybody. I expected it, thoroughly expected it this morning when it comes to this conversation. I expect there's going to be here, there's going to be there when it comes to this. Great conversation. Yeah, cheers, mate. Really appreciate that. Here we go. So Scott says, you begged, and I will read out comments that disagree with me, obviously, everybody. You begged that Joseph should play, but he's not good enough. I think you're stirring up. There you go. Okay. This is and we'll get minutes in time. What am I stirring up? This is an opinion-based thing, Scott. It's an opinion-based thing. This is me theorizing. This is what this channel has always been about discussion, debate. I'm not going to come on here and just play the fiddle. That's not what I'm going to do. You've called Joseph not good enough. I completely disagree with you there. So there we go. And Scott's in again. He's on a mission this morning. You all slagged off Farke for subbing Solomon against Blackburn. Now you're saying we should start Ramazani. I don't think we're not saying that once again. It's him being given minutes, him being reintroduced. We've bigged Solomon up so much. And this is the strange sort of narrative people come in with. They sort of make their own thing up and then say that everybody's sort of said it, which is a little bit odd. Like that's not what people are saying. I think people are on the same mark that Solomon deserves his start, and Solomon's been the best attacking player. We've all said this, but Ramazani needs minutes. I think that's pretty abundantly clear. Fans talking about loyalty and bin off players without having a clue. Fans don't like Isaac. The duck out the bathwater. Morning, Conor, says Matt. I hope you're well, mate. When Farke doesn't fancy a player, they are basically out. Difficult to understand this. Andy says Farke is going the same way as last season, not utilising the players he's got to squad. Too many favourites are getting knackered. St. Gallen, good man Ian, was there last summer. Fab place. Apparently it is, mate. Lovely place, which is good stuff. Darlow is decent. Let's see the rotation options discussed playing on Saturday, 100%. I hope this Conan Ledesma is legit. He looks pretty good. Big improvement over Meslier. Nicholas says Farke boys all the time. Rotation in the late 70s. Every time it should be in the 60s. Yeah, and that's what I mean, everybody. It's the options that we have in-house, and it's a positive thing. This is a positive thing. I think Farke should be utilizing these subs a bit quicker. I think certain individuals should be getting minutes. And when I'm talking, by the way, as well, everybody, about Farke going for certain players and playing these certain players, that's absolutely fine. I wonder what the 49ers are thinking when it comes to that and certain personnel not playing, because it feels like right now Isaac Schmidt is a bit of a waste of a signing. The only thing I'm saying here is I would challenge you not to maybe just think Isaac Schmidt is shit and not good enough and crap at defending because he's not had minutes, because that's naturally not always the case. It really isn't. And I think we're just seeing a bit of a change when it comes to Ramazani. How is he supposed to get in his flow? How is he supposed to build up any momentum if he's not getting minutes? In certain games as well, for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. Let's have a couple of I do think Aragon says I do think rotation's been better this season, but he definitely has his favourites. I think that's I think that's pretty obvious, mate. And I think we can all agree on that. So Sheffield Wednesday, it looks like this and Leeds United will be broadcast on ITV this weekend, everybody, which or next weekend, I should say, which I'm pretty happy with. Ben Sheaf rumours not going away as well. Now, Ben Sheaf is an interesting one. So I've spoken about him on the channel before in terms of what I would go for a midfielder. I think at this level, he's very good. I think Sheaf's one of those who would be able to step up almost in the Ryan Yates mold. He reminds me a lot of Ryan Yates in terms of the player that he is. We've always had a problem coming up against Ben Sheaf. I feel like Ben Sheaf in central midfield is going to be a problem under Frank Lampard. Against Leeds United as well. I think he's going to be G'd up a little bit, but I think his attributes as a football player, combative, good on the ball, very, very aware positionally. I think he gets across that midfield excellently well. I'd really like Ben Sheaf at Leeds United. Now, the overriding discussion here is he's probably worth about 8 million quid. There's 18 months left on his contract. Leeds looking at him in terms of long term. I think that's a really good strategy by the Whites. I think if we're looking at him for maybe Premier League ventures, if we do get there, really, really happy with that. But right now, I don't see it happening. I think the only time when you're looking at Leeds moving up to the Premier League, I'll get a poll in the chat as well, everybody. Interested to hear what you say on this when it comes to Ben Sheaf. Would you take him? Ben Sheaf, we're going to go with a simple yes or no. But yeah, the only reason I'm talking about him in particular is the 18 months left on his deal. Ben Sheaf sort of talk has been sort of rumbling on for about 6 to 7 months, really, when it comes to Leeds United. I would say when that midfield is taking a step up to the Premier League, would you see Gilavogui there still? I would argue no. Would you see Elia Gruev in the Premier League if Leeds got up there? I would say no. Ampadu, yes, obviously. Tanaka, 100%. And Rothwell, hopefully we would make him a permanent signing. It obviously increases Leeds United's age as well. He'll be 30 next season. I don't think he's just going to dramatically fall off a cliff. You take care of yourself as a footballer nowadays, as we've seen with multiple examples. You take care of yourself off the pitch, you're going to be fine on the pitch. And midfielders will be going to 36, 37 at the top level, I'm sure, pretty soon. So 30 is no age as a footballer, in my opinion, nowadays in the modern climate. So yeah, I would 100% be looking at Ben Sheaf. I think that's a really good option to bring into the Premier League. Reminds me very, very much, as I've said several times, of the sort of Ryan Yateses, and let's not just turn our nose up to him. But let's wait and see. Steve says, morning, Conor. Just need time on the field. Can you remember Chris Wood? He took a lot of time going out, but when he did, the goals started coming. Conor, do you think Farke drops Meslier? Good feeling? Absolutely not, mate. No. Elan Meslier will be... Yeah, no, Scott, that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I know you disagreed with me previously, but it's all opinion, Scott. I respect your opinion. That's why I flashed it up, mate. I'm just trying to articulate my point as well, mate. And we all want what's best for Leeds United. But listen, I'm not slamming Daniel Farke. I promise. I just think he needs to utilize his squad a little bit better in certain instances, which I think is the general consensus anyway. Okay, Rothwell was crap. Remember that one when he basically hadn't played any useful minutes? It's a really good point, Michael. Yeah, it's a really good point. Kind of the options are there, but he is so poor in game management. The subs timing is poor. Ryan says Farke has always had a headache with injuries. When Gruev Ampadu got injured out and Rothwell stepped in and been brilliant, been the same as Ramazani Solomon. Good headache to have. And that's the thing with Farke. He's got a lot of really, really good headaches to have. Ramazani Solomon's been excellent. He's given him a decision to make. And as I've just said previously, everybody, I just would like to see Ramazani get the same treatment that Solomon got when Solomon was coming back into the fold. More minutes, more exposure. And I think that's what Ramazani needs right now. As I say, rotation is absolutely key. Let's not forget what Ramazani was. Do you remember what he did to Sheffield United? Do you remember what he did to Sheffield United? Okay, he was a big, big reason as to why we won that game. The transition, the pace, the doubling up. They could not deal with him. He is the X factor that gets you out the championship. This isn't reactionary. I love Ramazani. I think he's the X factor. Solomon, very good player. Very good player, in my opinion. He's proven the likes of me wrong. I didn't think he'd get into his stride at Leeds. But he's definitely developed. I just think Ramazani's got that ceiling. I think he's got that ceiling up here, and he is our player. Okay, let's have a quick chat about, we spoke about Ramazani. Let's have a quick chat about Latte Lath as well. So there's still rumours, weirdly, that Leeds are going to be moving in for Latte Lath. Once again, I feel, and we were speaking to Ben last night about what Leeds need to do. Okay, if Leeds are going to the Premier League, I think we look at the Ipswich model. Quite simply, you look at the Ipswich model and what have they done, people? Well, quite simply, they've spent 100 million quid and they've got the likes of Jacob Greaves, they've got the likes of Liam Delap, they've got the likes of Jack Clark. They've got assets, big assets that if they do get relegated, which Leeds United will be in a high percentage of potentially being relegated if we were to go to the Premier League, if we were to get relegated, you then go down, and with the second promotion consecutively, not having that gap that we've had, but the second promotion, you are in such a good stead. You know, your squad's a little bit healthier, your financial state's a little bit healthier, but you prepare for the championship. And I think that is the best way of going forward. I would love to do the Nottingham Forest strategy of signing 30 players and then getting a points deduction. But as I said last night to Benjamin Bloom, Leeds United wouldn't get a 2-point deduction. We would get a 22-point deduction. And we all know that, don't we, people? So, yeah, very well aware of that. I think Leeds United, if they were to go up, should do exactly what the Latte Lath's all about. If Leicester, if West Ham, and if Crystal Palace don't get him signed, sealed, and delivered this window, Borough don't go up, Leeds do go up, I think it's a signing we should be looking at. I think 100% it's a signing Leeds United should be looking at. And I do wonder whether or not there's no smoke without fire here, and Leeds are looking at Latte Lath. Looks like there's apparently a 12 million quid valuation on his head, and we go up and you almost do that thing where you recruit for the championship, but you look at that upper, once again using that word, percentile, and try target players who could acclimatise to the Premier League, which Latte Lath I think could, but also in the championship are going to come down, and either they're going to be bought on by other players, other clubs I should say, i.e. Liam Delap going down with Ipswich. He's not going to be there for long. Could happen with Leeds and Latte Lath, who knows. And I think that for me would be the Piroe replacement. A lot of Conor, what are you talking about? I don't think even the Piroe fans on here, in my opinion, I don't think even the Piroe fans on this show, which look, I am. He's a Leeds United player, of course. He's I think there's improvements of Joel Piroe. I actually don't think Daniel Farke's certain on him, to be honest with you. But I don't think he works in the Premier League. I think is that an obvious statement to make? Is that an obvious statement to make? There's obviously 60% of people as well who've said yes to Ben Sheaf, 40% who've said no. I guess I should have made that a long-term thing. But Piroe in the Premier League, let's get that poll going in the chat as well, everybody. Piroe in the Premier League. I want you to let me know yes or no. But I think you've got to replace athleticism. I think you've got to replace physicality. And I think if we're all a bit and ahhing about him in the Championship in the Premier League, Piroe's in a lot of trouble. And I do wonder whether or not his speed of thought and his acceleration are the things that have maybe held him back when going to the top level. So yeah, a lot of discussion when it comes to that, which is interesting. But let me know in the comment section below. 71% of you are already saying no. Let me know in the chat. Piroe, I believe some fanboys thought he had an excellent game before he scored his goal. Great finish though, but you need more. Piroe in the Prem on the bench. Piroe will be okay off the bench as Callum and Ash. Interesting there. So I wanted to touch on Jack Harrison as well. I've seen it in the chat. So I've seen it in the chat when it comes to Harrison. Now, Graham has mentioned yesterday that apparently Jaden Philogene going from Aston Villa to Everton, which is a big rumour that's heating up now, which I actually think will help Everton a lot with some minutes for Philogene, obviously formerly of Hull City when he was excellent in the Championship, obviously nearly mirroring Somerville numbers last season. Looks like to be joining the Dothies. And I was a little bit worried that this would mean, because from Everton's side, it was very much like, well, this means the cancellation of Jack Harrison, which no, please no, please no, please no. Jack Harrison, for me, would be behind Solomon. He's behind James. He's behind Ramazani, obviously. Yeah. He's behind Chambers. But you know what I mean? This, no way, not in a month of Sundays would I have him back. Not in a month. So he's going to come back. Look, that's the reality of it. But selling him on for another loan is absolutely essential for Leeds United. Okay, what I wanted to discuss as well is Patrick Bamford. Now, we've spoken loads on this channel before about the Wrexham update, and they're at a point now where they're not up in the Championship, and FFP isn't a thing in League One, and we all know that. So they can kind of do what they want in terms of expenditure when they come up to the Championship, which I feel is going to be in the near future. You know, they're not going to be able to spend what they've been spending, of course, but there's rumours around Patrick Bamford and Wrexham. There's some absolutely kiboshing it, and there's others even from the Wrexham side saying that, you know, Wrexham have received a boost with the Patrick Bamford recent news, which is obviously Daniel Farker in his press conference saying he's struggling to stay fit and all this sort of stuff, and he can't get in the side at this moment in time. Look, Patrick Bamford to Wrexham would be an absolute dream. We're all very aware of that. The Joe Gelhardt stuff is interesting right now. We spoke about that on a video yesterday, but I do think he'll still go to Hull. And I think Patrick Bamford will remain at Leeds United. It feels like Wrexham would be an obvious one. I mentioned Birmingham earlier on in the window, but with Jay Stansfield, Lyndon Dykes, it's a tough one to convince Birmingham, isn't it? I mean, a high-profile signing in terms of Pat Bamford. Would he work at other clubs? Is he completely awful? No, but I think he needs a fresh start, and he would be really positive for another club. How does that work? Is it going to be a sign-in? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Bamford and Melee won't start for my Sunday League club. Yeah, but Nidal, we're still talking about Patrick Bamford because he unfortunately is still a conversation point. He still is a conversation point. But yeah, listen, I think Bamford to Wrexham is probably a no-go, but it's interesting from the Wrexham side how there's still some encouragement. The Wrexham insider was saying, look, we've still got encouragement for Patrick Bamford. Patrick Bamford, it looks like Daniel Farker's not convinced on him, so that's interesting in itself, isn't it? Would they really finish off this window by going for Patrick Bamford? Who knows? And what would Leeds United then do? Would they be okay with Piroe and Joseph? I think we're fine with those two. Okay, guys. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there. We're going to be back tonight with Battle Lines. That's for 7 p.m. where Jimmy's coming back on the channel. Listen, Sheffield United have won a game. He's coming back on the channel. Water is wet. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. 700 of you on YouTube. There's over 1,100 of you on all platforms. I'd definitely encourage you to go and have a look at the podcast yesterday with Benjamin Bloom. Really good watch, if I do say so myself. Also, I do have a second channel. The second channel, link in the description below, set up yesterday, everybody. Let's try get 500 subscribers. That'd be great. On the road to 1K. Yeah, and we've done a video already over there. So make sure you check that out. Link in the description below for my new channel. It is just Conor McGilligan on YouTube. And I really appreciate all of your support, everyone. And I'll see you later on. Cheers.